wherever you are on this glorious planet of ours. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shaya.
Welcome to Being Here.
Yes.
Today's episode, the Being Present Makeover.
What do we mean by that?
Well, it's a real thing. If you notice when you're talking to somebody and they get here, their face comes alive. So if you want to look alive, feel alive, look younger, more vibrant, try being
the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, you just get into the moment.
And this show is all dedicated to support you in getting into the moment, which includes Shai and I finishing each other's sentences.
And our stock phrase is listen.
Listen, listen, listen.
See, listening, when you allow what's being said to come in rather than try to see how it applies to you, will pull you into the current moment of your life. But if you either agree with or disagree with what we're saying, you're not really listening. You're just agreeing or disagreeing, which is normal. That's the way we human beings seem to interpret life through what we already know. So we're talking about a state of being called being that isn't normal, because normally we're so busy in our thoughts about how the future is going to turn out, or what we didn't do in our past or did in our past that we think we shouldn't have done, that we aren't here for the current moment. So today we're going to talk about being here and see how it affects everything.
Your mind also can go off in the future to projects on your plate or things you need to do. I got to pick up the kids, or what am I going to make for dinner?
I was going to, after this is over, I was going to go to town and get some bottled gas for our torch.
See, he has projects.
So I have a project. Yeah. That, and I was going to get some gas for our machinery that we use around here to split logs and
that kind of
cut
thing.
Trees. And
so today, Shai and I sat outside over lunch, and we were listening to an audiobook. And there was a moment where I came back to the audiobook where I realized I hadn't heard the story because I'd followed a thought. Now, the thought also had a seeing component, meaning I saw a bird land on the tree. I had a agenda to take a picture of birds, and before you know it, I was getting my camera in my mind. So while listening to this show, it's the audio version. So you have a challenge. You can go off in your thoughts by something triggered by what you're visually seeing. If you notice it, don't judge yourself. Just bring your attention back to what's actually happening in your life. It strengthens the skill set of listening, regardless of the information that's coming to you. Chances are what we have to say today won't be particularly disturbing, but sometimes you do hear disturbing info, somebody calling up to say they're ill, or you get news that you don't want to hear. The more you practice fully engaging and listening non-preferentially, the easier it is to listen no matter what's happening in your life.
Right.
Should we take our first?
Yes, please.
All right, let's take our first guest.
Sandy.
Where are you calling in from today?
Hi, this is Sandy from Montville, New Jersey. I'm calling from my studio. Thank you for having me and on this glorious planet, as you put it. I've recently started to get back into painting. I've been doing artwork since I'm a little kid, but I haven't painted. I've created things for many clients, whether it's an illustration or some kind of creation on the computer or by hand or whatever. But I found that one of our Monday night seminars, I totally got into the moment, and Instead of thinking about going home and doing anything, I ripped a canvas out from in storage and took some paints out. And what was blocking me from painting was I know I'm talented, I know I'm good, but it was that voice in my head saying, well, what are you going to paint? Is it going to be good enough? Will someone else like it? And all these other things kept on blocking me from actually painting. And the seminar freed me up from that on that night, which was really awesome. I know I'm not supposed to think about how to get there. It's supposed to happen, and that's the hardest part for me. I find myself like transforming on a Monday night, but then like if it's like a Thursday or something like that, the voice will start up, not necessarily negative, but the voice starts up, so it's distracting
Well,
from
wait a
being in the
second.
moment.
You mean you go from Monday to Thursday without having the voice bother
Well,
you?
I just picked Thursday just out of a day.
Well, you're doing pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we offer so many different possibilities to touch base with transformation. This podcast being one of them. We know of people who listen to the podcast coming and going to work. They just pick an episode from the archive and they listen. There are people who are members of the Premium Excellence Club, was what it used to be called. Now it's Living Made Easy on Demand. It's our subscription series where people get a video of us having a conversation with somebody each week. There are special articles. We have the article of the month that on the public site as well, and the video of the month on the public site, not to mention our books. We have several of them. I actually read something in one of our books today. I was doing a little research and I pulled out the latest one, Being Here Too, and read a chapter written by somebody else as part of that research. And it was very interesting how just that little touch base supported me in having things be effortless. So I just wanted to say that now also, Sandy, because those are support structures. And of course, as you said, the Monday seminars, the Saturday seminars, the ones we have once a month on Tuesday, and the weekends are really an incredible deeper dip that make it easier for people to hold the state of well-being. It's like strengthening your muscles or taking your vitamin C, as in SEE, where you really see what you're up to as opposed to talking to yourself about how you should be.
Yeah, well, I actually love the seeing part because my mother always taught me not just to look, but to see and to see what is going on. I wish that I learned earlier. I thought I was a good listener until I met the both of you. That changed, what I thought was good listening. And what is amazing, what you were saying before, is when I do listen, when I'm with a group of people, even though I might not want to hear what they have to say, but I just listen. I try to do it with no judgment, not put it through my thought process and stuff. I find they kind of get into the moment also. They seem to get a little bit more relaxed. I told a story about some people the other day walking out of ShopRite who were not necessarily my cup of tea people. They were not into wearing masks, although they wore masks when I saw them, and they weren't into getting vaccines. And after our 5-minute conversation, I know for sure 2 of them were going to get vaccines, and I didn't talk anybody into anything. I think they just saw the confidence and how relaxed I was about it. And say it, I don't know how to say it, but I guess I transformed them because they went from one extreme to the other extreme, and hopefully they convinced the others.
Well, here's the thing. You have an agenda in what you're saying that's going to inhibit them from following through. And that is, you want them to do what you think is better for them than what they think. So you're trying to fix or change them, which is something that we have discovered really doesn't work. Because if you look, I don't think in the time we've met you, we've tried to fix or change you or make you feel better.
You know, you did talk about that story at a Monday evening, and the difference in you, what you're talking about now, because you've probably told it a few times to people. First of all, we are pre-recording this a little bit earlier. It's still in a time frame where people are required to wear masks inside. I don't know if that will still be the case when this airs. That you guys were having a conversation and they asked why you got your, according to you, why you got your vaccine. And you thought and said, well, according to you, because I listened to you the other night, the vaccine seems really safe. And as far as I can tell, people who've gotten it don't get really sick and they don't die. And in my case, I felt that was worth it. And then they thought about it because you weren't telling them they should do it, that they thought, oh, that's probably a good idea. I think I'll do it too. Now, down the road a little bit, you're hoping that you made a difference. And it's similar to where you're getting stuck from time to time whilst painting. You're wondering if the painting will make a difference rather than simply genuinely expressing your perspective. And some people will like it and some people, it won't be their cup of tea, but it doesn't make your self-expression any less valid.
Yes,
what are you thinking about?
I try not to think, but yes, I hear what you're saying, and I do agree with your comments. They hit those spots where, yes, that's what I'm doing. Instead of this painting and being freer, although my painting I haven't felt like this in a very long time. It's a very different approach. I'm just like free falling. I'm this painting versus sketching something out, seeing something in the future, figuring out my color combinations. It's just more of it's my instinct of.
How about experiential?
Experiential.
You're in the experience of painting rather than thinking out how to have it turn out.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Right. That's very much so.
Yeah. Well, you can be in the experience of living too.
Just so you know, you
see what's your truth and operate through that rather than trying to do it right. Look, my dear, you've been trying to do it right your whole life.
Very true.
Yeah. And trying to do it right isn't really terribly satisfying. You've noticed that, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Right. But if you're true to yourself, if you look and see what your heart has to say, then you'll come up with the right answers.
I'm hearing a funny phrase. Shai and I used to have a conference center in Bali, Indonesia. And one of the things that was really challenging for me at first was bargaining for items. But if you didn't bargain with the people in the market, they felt like you didn't respect them. So they'd hold up something that you might want, or you hold it up and say, I have this water glass that you're selling. How much do you want for it? And they would say a price, and then we'd go back and forth. And one of the things they often said was, good for you, good for me. And when we ultimately came to a price, it was good for you, good for me. And I kind of think of it in reverse for you, Sandy. Somewhere you've tried so hard to be a good person, a nice person, a kind person, a caring person, take care of people around you. There have been times where you've left yourself out of the equation. And what we've discovered over time and with working with people is there are actions from time to time that we want to take, but we judge them because we are concerned how other people might think or what it will, but we've come to recognize and see over and over, if we take care of our well-being, we're taking care of the well-being of everyone around us. And even on that little tiny slice of, will this painting be something that people will like? If you like it, it'll radiate out. My favorite pictures are ones people love to stare at. I love them. And then if somebody didn't respond to them, that's okay, because I love them. So somewhere, I don't know that you've given yourself permission to really juicily love your life. You're trying to be
The good guy.
the good guy. And it's got to get a little tiring. He's
Yeah.
nodding.
He's nodding. And not
Yes,
very
yes.
satisfying.
Yeah. No, I'm hearing, and it's so true what you're saying, and I have to give up all that internal control.
You
I
don't have
don't.
to give up anything. You didn't get out that canvas after giving up something. The inspiration struck.
Okay.
You didn't come to that Monday hoping at the end you could paint freely, and we weren't talking to you about painting.
Right.
And you didn't even know we existed a moment before we did for you.
That's very true.
You know, somebody invited you to come for Monday evening. And you said, okay. And you discovered something there
And I fell in love.
with you.
And we are the beneficiaries.
Yes,
I like that.
me too.
It's nice chatting with you today.
It was awesome chatting with you. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Okay, will do.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
I'm Daniela from Euskirchen, and the cool part of transformation is that I can see how I behave and how I really relate to my friends and how it affects our friendship. And it's for me now, since I've been with transformation, so easy to say, oh, I think I was wrong, sorry. And yeah, my relationships got much more intimate and wonderful. I'm very thankful for appreciation, for transformation in the community. Thank you.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Aaron and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Okay, welcome back. Not that you probably went anywhere because the show keeps running. I want to let you know what's upcoming. We have a couple of the Living Made Easy seminars like Sandy was talking about. We have one on this Saturday and the following Monday. And then we have a weekend seminar
It's called Creativity and Intuition. That's on August 7th and 8th. That's a Saturday and Sunday, which is a weekend.
And part of that is also what Sandy was describing, where you suddenly discover or open the doorway to your brilliance, your creativity. It's spontaneous. It happens in a moment. It's not something you need to work up to. And it's a fun course. It's a lot of fun, actually. So if you want to join us for that, just go to our website, transformationmadeeasy.com, and register. All right.
All right.
Should we take our next guest?
Let's.
All right, Miss Anina.
Yes, hello. This is Anina in Switzerland.
Hello.
Thun, Switzerland.
Tune.
Thun,
Welcome.
Yes. Are you in tune? In tune?
I'm in tune, yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, it's
Isn't
lovely.
it nice to be in tune with yourself?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
It is indeed.
What can we do for you, lovely?
When I read the title of today's show, I thought of all those titles you can read in magazines, like 5 steps to make over your living room, or 5 steps for, so, and then I thought, yes, I have the tendency to do this with my life, to find a fault with it or a deficit, and then like come up with a plan, and it hardly ever goes like planned.
Yeah. You know, our first book was called Working on Yourself Doesn't Work.
Yes.
For that reason, because you can never work on yourself enough to satisfy that judgmental voice in your head. You know, it always finds fault.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with suddenly have an impulse or desire to say, learn another language, or discover how to speed read. Or I took a course on iPhone photography. It was so much fun, but it was about my passion for being here and expressing myself into something I enjoy, not that I was substandard and I was going to take these class to make me better. Of course, I learned skills that made my photography even, well, I can't actually say better. I did
How
learn
about
skills.
more precise?
It is more precise, especially with the iPhone. I really got interested in taking pictures with the iPhone. And because Sean and I once went to
a major camera store in New York City, and Ariel asked one of the salespeople behind the counter, what is the best
digital camera.
I can have? And the person said, one that you will carry with you and use. And her iPhone, she carries with her all the time, and she's always taking pictures with it.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun to have it with you at all times.
Well, you know, you have you with you at all times.
That's the most fun thing.
That's so true. That's so true. Unless I want to do a makeover of the working on myself.
Yes, as if how you are is not already perfect.
Yes.
As if you need to do something to improve. See, transformation is not about improving anything. It's funny, there's an old Zen proverb, I guess, or saying that said, before I was enlightened, I carried water and I chopped wood. And after I was enlightened, I carry water and chop wood.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changes. The circumstances are still the same, but how you go about your life, your appreciation of what and who you are moment to moment is what shifts.
Yes.
Rather than thinking that you are somehow not enough, you discover that you are totally enough.
Yes, and what I've discovered lately, that when I have an impulse to expand further into my life, for instance, as a professional, I'm a physical therapist, and I have the inclination or the wish to make what I do available to more people. But I don't run it as a project. But once I've been open and receptive, then things come up that support me, like also online courses, and online courses that tell me or help me to bring my things online. And I find it always like a fine line to find to do what needs to be done without working on myself. So
Yes, it is a fine line.
Yeah.
I mean, we always have lots of projects. Jaya currently is in the midst of a project of splitting wood from a tree he cut down. One tree is a blow down, one that fell over in a storm, and another is one that half of it broke off the top, and the other half was standing in the woods for over a year, and he got out the chainsaw and finally felled that part. And he has a project to cut that into rounds that's splittable with our log splitter, and it'll split, and then we'll stack it in a fireplace area to be used for winter. And so there's nothing wrong with having projects. The idea that you will be a better you when you complete it is inaccurate.
And the other thing is this: you don't want to turn you into a project. You want to live your life.
That's a big one. Yes.
Well, that's the only one. You know, you want to experience being alive rather than being a project in constant, what's the word I'm looking for? Need to improve.
Yeah.
Well, I know we haven't spoken about our approach. Hi, Kitty. I see your kitten. Your 3 principles of instantaneous transformation. I'm going to start with the second principle. Life shows up exactly as it does. So your cat had to walk into the screen so that I could see it, and I had to say something because I did. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's not a right thing or a wrong thing. Your life shows up exactly as it does.
In each moment.
And then there's 2 options. You resist it.
Which is normal for a lot of us. When life does not fit our preferences, we try to manipulate ourselves or people or our cat to get it to turn out the way we think it ought to.
And third principle is anything you allow to be exactly as it is completes itself. And life becomes this magical adventure as opposed to a project, a self-improvement project. I think that's what you were looking for earlier.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I know we've had a lovely chat, but I'm wondering if you had a question for us today, or if there's, and I just want to make sure that we're answering it if you did.
No, I didn't have a particular question, just this fine line came up. So
between working on yourself and getting to work?
And
getting to work.
And getting to work, yes, yes. Or thinking of working or working, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's a
Our
treat.
pleasure.
For us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like to be a guest like Sandy or Anina, it's simple. Just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and you can find out how. Or you can also, if you'd like, submit a listener spotlight. Just you can record how transformation has made a difference in your life. And we can play it in the middle of the show like you heard earlier. You ready to hear next week's episode?
I am.
No need to worry about worry.
That is true. When you discover how to access and live in the current moment, worry falls away. So there's no need to worry about worrying.
That's right. I had a makeover today. And if you didn't, don't worry.
No worries.
No worries. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And if you did have a makeover, good for you.
Yes.
Awesome. No worries. So come on back there. All that good stuff. We'll be back next week.
So
Come on back.
don't miss
Being here.